Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com, and we've got a nice smartwatch to show you. This is a big rectangular beautiful watch sitting on a nice foam cushion, which, by the way, might be worth holding on to if you want to store this thing. Here's the watch itself, and it may look a little familiar because we've reviewed something very similar in the past, and we're going to kind of compare the two of them together. Take a look at that. What are we looking at right now? This is the official DomiWare DM101 coming to us from TomTop at a really decent price. It's a 4G 2.41-inch smartwatch. It's a bit smaller than the DM100, but it's got basically the same capabilities. The kinds of things that it can do are listed here. This is a overall feature set, parameters, and so forth. So you can take a look at this, freeze frame it if you'd like to read through it. We're going to move ahead because we basically have reviews of this watch and everything it can do already up. When you check in the show notes, you'll find links to, oh my goodness, Ticris, Lympho, and other DomiWare watches that all basically do the same thing. So we're not going to belabor what it does. We're going to kind of highlight some of the differences. And I got something special to talk to you about today that is something new that you haven't heard or seen anywhere on our channel that might be worth watching the review. Here we go. We've got a camera right there. That looks like a microphone or speaker microphone set. SIM card goes in here. Charger goes in there. We've got two buttons, and they're going to be on the left-hand side. So we press this one, and it should fire it up. Notice the screen protector over here too. There's a plastic screen protector. As it boots up, I'll let you know that underneath here is the basic user manual and an extra screen protector and a bag of extra screws here for the SIM in the back. There we go. We've got this nice boot up logo happening. It's a very reflective screen, so I got to get it just right so that you don't see a lot of reflections in there. We also have an accessory box, and inside this box should be our charging dock, and it looks like this. And it's a standard magnetic dock that just attaches to the back. Again, you'll see that in the other review videos. Now, wow, look at this. There's another, oh no, that's the one, I was going to say, we're not another screen protector, but that's the one we just took off. There it is, which is just a film on the top. And now the user's manual. Pretty much text-based with some sketches in here, showing you the basics of how you charge the watch, how you get access to it, the different buttons, what they do, the list of applications that are on there, and then basically one by one a sentence or two about each of the applications. Once again, check in the show notes for the links to other videos of the same or similar watch, because we cover all these different apps and information in those in much more detail than our overview we're showing you here. This is the layout of the app itself that you tether to, and that's it for the English version. This little round watch face is something I downloaded from the server they've got in China that allows you to download a variety of faces. Almost all of those faces are made for round watches. So just to show you what a nice round one looks like on this watch, we'll go through the custom faces here in a moment. When I slide down, you see you get this panel here. This is the layout that's showing you the basic weather in your area, power level, and so forth. It's all the way over this side. If I go this way, now you get different things that you can turn on. You can turn on or off your Wi-Fi. That was on. Now it's back off again. Turn it back on. Bluetooth, same thing. Cellular connection. There's your overall brightness. That was on the lowest setting. Look at this. When I bring it all the way up to full brightness, it pretty much washes out. Of course, the camera is adjusting too, so it's a little hard to tell. We'll run it in that first level so it doesn't like bloom too much on the screen. Do not disturb mode, silence it. This is the twist your wrist to see the time. You got airplane mode, location services for GPS, and Dad, I'm not sure what that thing is. What is that? Whoa, look at that twirl. Okay. Oh, that's a cleaner. That's the internal cleaning thing. Cleans up your background stuff. Interesting. Don't remember seeing that one. Got a music player here. Swipe over one more and we get weather. And it's updating from the server for this location. And that's it. So those are the things you see when you scroll this way. When you scroll over to the right, you'll get any notifications pushed to you from your phone or from within the watch as you have it all set up. Then we scroll this way, we get into our overall listing of apps, and once more, we get into all of the different activities. You've seen all this before, so I'm just showing you the layout. You scroll up, and you see the second page of apps, and from here you scroll up, and you see things like your step count information on the daily basis. And then, of course, the overall summary. And I want you to notice this. If you tap the gear down at the bottom, it gets you in here where you can do all of the setup for your height and weight and gender and those kind of things. That's an additional little hidden settings for you. Okay, when we come over here, you got all of the basic layout of the apps. Settings is up here, and settings covers your stuff that we always do, sound and display, app layouts, connections, your gesture controls, the power savings, language, everything is in here, including uninstalling applications, about the watch, and more. And in the more, you have all these different things, your different accounts, and then this background cleaner. Background cleaner, you go into battery saver and you touch once on here, and it brings up a variety of different apps that you have installed. And you want to make sure you turn off the ones that you don't want to go silent in the background. Things like these custom apps that I've put in that I'm going to tell you about. Your Maps to Go, which is for the mapping program. Google Go, amazing app. You got to try that one. Gboard for the keyboard. And here I can leave this to turn off. It's all right because this is just a document that tells you about the commands you can use when you trigger the Google keyword. So I've turned those off so they won't be automatically disabled in the background. Then you have your screen lock and face unlock and all the other kind of things in here too. As another thing I want to show you in the About This Watch, this is where you get the basic information for your system, and you can see that it is the model DM101 running Android 7.1.1, and that's the current build number, version 1.2 it looks like from here. You do a wireless update check once you're on Wi-Fi, of course, simply by tapping here and letting it check. And if you've got a OTA, an over-the-air push, it'll let you know right there. And if you got one, you can install it. If not, which it says it does not have an update, then you're on the latest firmware running. Press up here, you can go back. Press the bottom one, you can come all the way over. And now let's take you back to the beginning watch face. Here we go. It's a very colorful animated watch face. I also want to show you the faces because this is where you're going to start to see some differences between this, the DM101, and this, the Ticris Max S, right? First of all, here you go. We're way into system. It shows you that we're running model Max S, Android 7.1.1, and that's the particular build number. Now, coming all the way back, here's that same watch face. We do have a bit of a different layout, which is one of the things you can see between the different watches. There's these two major animation ones, and you can see they're running pretty much the same speed, the same everything. If there's a slight brightness difference, it's just the overall settings of the brightness. This one, we add the incremental brightness, and this one, because it's been set up longer, I have display brightness, which is that little slider button. If you're interested in that, watch any of the other videos we talk about how it works and where you can get it. Now things start to differ. Going to press and hold on both of them to get into the thumbnails. And check it out. This one goes into a couple of pages of active touch buttons, whereas this one goes into more of a traditional watch face. You get a few more regular ones here, like this car, and this one will have that as well. As you scroll through it, you have a few more new colorful ones with just hands on them. And eventually you get over here. Sorry about the reflections. And yeah, you get to the same basic car one somewhere. There you go. Okay. So you've got a mix of the different faces. These are in here. You see that one is over here somewhere. You have that one. You have that one. So basically look at this review on the Max S if you want to see the layout of all of the different faces. There are a few more. Some of them have active buttons in them that this one doesn't have. However, as you know, we have custom installation capability of watches. And if I scroll further down here, you'll find I got all kinds of different custom faces that many of them come from Alrod. Here's an animated one of beer brewing. Some of them have custom buttons as well. Again, the other reviews of these square rectangular watches include lots of different examples of touch and animated watch faces that you can install on this watch just as well. They're basically all identical in the way they handle the custom watch faces. Here, let me show you what I mean. This is one of the stock faces, and Alrod, who's created a whole bunch of new ones for the LEMT, which is the same basically as the Ticris Max, which is the same as the Domiware DM100 size, which is larger than this one, the DM101, which is the same as the Ticris Max S. They all work. They all work scaled down. This is a stock watch that comes with the DM101. Press and hold, and I got some custom faces loaded in here. Let me show you one in particular, this one. So this is one of Alrod's faces. Notice it's along a similar line, dials. You've got the date up at the top, an analog and digital clock here. You've got weather here. I mean, it's ripe. It's great. Even power level is on here, all in a layout like on an airplane. Great concept and a really unique way of showing stuff. Here's another one of Alrod's. Now, they always flash fast and then settle down. That's just the way watch faces load under this 7.1.1 and Android 10 operating system on these watches. By the way, this is what it looks like on. Notice you've got a great viewing angle on these watches too. So there you go. You got date and a bicyclist and basic information, heart rate and step count and distance traveled and your power level on there. Another fun face. All of these, I'll have links in the show notes for you that you can head over and connect up with Alrod. I think it's a flat fee to gain access to his entire library, and you can download all these different faces that are designed for either rectangular or round watches. That was Pong, and here's Space Invaders. Getting ready to shoot up at them. What fun. All these flashbacks to the past. And this is really fun. This one is got active buttons on it. Oh, did you see the weather change just then? Came up one way and then flipped to another. So the entire background is the current conditions in weather. And then, of course, you got your temperature on here as well. Right now, centigrade. We're working on figuring out how to flip it to be able to show in Fahrenheit, too. These are all active buttons, meaning that you can tap on them if you hit them just right, and it'll access that activity. Oh, come on, you worked on a moment ago. Let's go to here, this one. There we go, text messaging. My finger's a little bit wet. Some of them, like WhatsApp, you have to install, calendar, calculator. The camera's on here. When you tap that, you get your camera module. That'll come up. Sorry, it's not really that bad of sensitivity. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at. My hand, that's right, the camera points out over this way. So you have instant access to the camera. You notice it twists the screen for the stock camera on these. Google Music Player, Spotify, there's heart rate. If you tap on that, if I can get it just right, it gets in here and it'll do your heart rate measurement using the diode in the back. That's built into all of them as well. And overall settings too. So here's an example of a watch face that has active touch buttons. With a dry finger, they're just spot on. Here's another little fun one. Flipping around, it's a Spectrum, it says, and it's got a rainbow in it, and this is my favorite. This is great. I'd buy the watch just for this face. Are you ready? Wee, wee, ooh, wee. Isn't that fun? Awesome. All right, there's more I want to show you, so let's keep moving. Let's get over here to the apps. Now, first of all, I want to point out that we do have this optimization button on here now, which is a systems button that gets you closer to some of the things you may want to take control of, like your quick, clean task that we were talking about, where you turn off all the things you want to be able to run in the background. You don't have to navigate all the way through the system to get to that now. Same thing with screen lock and face unlock. And this third-party apps adapter, which just makes some of the apps work a little bit better on the screen if they seem to be not looking well. You got your system work mode where you can change it into high performance or normal. By the way, I choose normal unless you're going to be like playing games on it, because you get much longer battery life if you do that. An app freeze thing helps to make sure you don't get locked out of apps. We don't use it very much. Anyway, that's all here. But this is what I want you guys to check out. As you go through, you know you've got the Play Store and Maps and Google, but this new thing called Google Go. Really interesting. This is Google, just your standard Google app, but it's been streamlined and improved so you have access to what look like all kinds of other apps and tutorial videos on how to get the most out of your Google systems on a watch or a phone. Highly suggest you start with your phone and install Google Go. Then come on over here and do it on your watch. It's perfect for a watch like this because it all fits nicely, as you can see in the screen. Everything is there. Now, one of the things that's really cool about this is you've got all these different little things right here as buttons on the screen that some of them are apps and some of them are functions that you can get into. And unlike normally, like with YouTube, that you have to go and install the app on the device and take up space, this is all integrated into the Google Go. So when you just tap on YouTube, it immediately takes you into YouTube without you having to have the app installed. And I don't have YouTube in here. That's a real sweet addition. All these typical apps that you're going to be using are integrated directly in Google Go. So you go in there, you got all of this stuff. Like I say, you got pull down things to give you tutorials on how to do more with it. And you got these different apps, which are kind of classic ones that people use. But check this out. There's a little All Apps button. Tap on that, and now you get these segments, and you get buttons across the top. So if you want quick stuff with Wikipedia or any of these other things, Twitter access, so forth, you just a tap away within Google Go to activate those. So they become kind of like web apps within an app that is managed by Google. You scroll up, you got different categories, and you notice they change across here. So you want just about every app you think you could possibly use other than specialized third-party ones, the common ones that everybody gravitates toward. They're all available to you right here without doing any additional installations. Really, really cool. When you exit this area, you come back over here to where we were. That home page, notice too, down at the bottom, you've got your traditional search and microphone. So on a watch, a lot easier to do this with a microphone than with a keyboard. You can just do your straight Google search or whatever you want to talk to Google about right there from the microphone. But if you do want to use a keyboard, I do want to show you something. Here we go. This is the stock keyboard, and now it's in this vertical portrait layout. And you see you've got the letters in there. You tap on here, you've got your numbers and your symbols and such. And of course you got your search button, or whatever's the active button, return, depending on what you're doing. And whatever you type is going to be typing in here. A lot of folks have wanted to see demo of the keyboard. Here you go. You've got the numbers up above. You can press and hold and bring up all sorts of options, including the numbers right there. And we don't have it implemented. Sometimes you can do that scroll type of typing, but not on this particular stock keyboard. You may have noticed, though, back here when we bail out of this, that I also have a thing called Gboard. I downloaded that, different than Google Go now. Google Go is a whole thing by itself, nothing to do with the keyboard. But now we're switching gears. We got this Google keyboard. When you activate it, it's going to actually not work. It's going to tell you that you have to do this step 1 of enabling it in settings. So it jumps over here automatically to settings, and we're going to turn it on. Read what it says, which it says about every keyboard. You can pretty much ignore it because it's just a keyboard. And then you have to select it as the input method. It's on the current default one. I'm going to switch it to Gboard, and we're done. Okay. Now I want to get back to where we were. Oh, you can set up all kind of preferences in here as well, including voice typing. You want to make sure that that is activated, and voice contributions can help improve their service, on and on and on and on. So I want to get back to where we were. Press and hold, go to recent tasks, and we don't want settings. We don't want, we do want the Google Go. That's where we were. Right? Okay. And we were doing a keyboard input in here. So I'm going to click there, and notice now the keyboard is completely changed. You can set it up if you want it to be the dark mode by switching it around. But in addition to the standard keyboard, from here you have the microphone and a few other goodies as well. Emojis are now available that you can bring up and use, all kinds of stuff. So one extra encouragement for you guys is to use the Google Play Store and go in here and download your copy of the Gboard. And that's the Google keyboard, and then do the quick and easy install that you saw me do. And you can replace the stock keyboard, not just on the DM101 or the DM100 larger watch, on any of the round watches as well, which is where you really have issues with the corners being cut off. Try it out, see if it works for you, and decide to keep it if you want to. If you don't, you can always switch back to the stock one. So there you have it, guys. This is the DomiWare DM101 Android standalone smartwatch phone, available directly from TomTop. Check the show notes. We've got the buying link in here, and I'll take you right over there. And of course, using our link really helps us out, because that's how they get exposure, and they send these watches to me to show to you, just so that they can hopefully make some sales. And of course, I show them to you because I just love them, and I can't wait to show them off. You learned a few things too. Tell your friends not every review is just about the watch. Sometimes we cram in other good stuff like custom watch faces and new software like Google Go. Give it a try, really. I think you'll like it. All right, gang. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.